One-stop shop. That's the key underlying success factor for Richard and his business. Good morning, Richard. Great to have you in the session.
Good morning, how are you? Oh, good
Fantastic.
afternoon, sorry, good afternoon.
Oh, you are. It is afternoon by 46 minutes. Lovely. Great hyper detail you got there. So, Richard, let's dive straight in. Tell us a bit about your business and how you got into it.
Sure. My business name is Creative Events
Mm.
and Productions. We are exactly what it says on the label. We're a creative event management and production company. Primarily, we're a production company, so we have all our own staging, lighting, backdrops, dance floors. We create the wow effect for any function room, any space. I've been doing this for over 30 years now, and we very much sell ourselves, as you said, as the one-stop shop agency and preferred supplier to many hotels, venues, agencies, private clients, corporate clients all over the UK. And into Europe, and now these days we're much more of a destination management company. So a lot of companies from abroad will utilize our services for their events in London. So we can organize their venues, their transportation, to organizing their flights and hotels and obviously the conferences, the production and everything else that is the event.
The production, everything else, which is the event. Love it. So you mentioned a couple of really important things while we were talking earlier on.
Yeah.
The first word you mentioned was the word trust.
Yeah.
So important in business. Talk me through what's your understanding or how you interpret the word trust, and over the last 18 years that you've been in business, how you've built trust and what advice you'd give to business owners out there on how they can continue building trust with their customers and suppliers.
You have to gain trust, you have to have knowledge. To gain knowledge, you've got to have experience.
Mm.
And I think that we have worked so hard, or I've worked so hard to gain the trust of my clients by never ever letting anybody down. And
Mm.
I think one of the most sort of passionate words I could probably use is honesty, and being able to deliver what you say you're going to deliver. I've always believed in if it's written down on a piece of paper what you're going to do, and you do less than that, you haven't done a good job. But if you can
Mm.
do more than what was on the signed contract, you know you're in a good place. And that's always been our ethos. Provide a high quality communicative service where people can trust and be honest. And it's not something that just comes overnight. You have to work really hard for it. And to gain that trust it's not the easiest thing to do. And
No.
you've got to gain the trust of many, many people, many businesses, people with, when we're organizing weddings and when we're organizing private parties and people are giving you their money that they've worked hard for, can they trust you to deliver on the event? Well, I shouldn't be in business if I don't know that I can't deliver. Uh,
Yeah.
and I know hands down that if somebody was to come to me and say, Richard, I want this, and this, and I want to spend this, and this, that I will deliver to exactly where what they're asking for. And that's always been our ethos. That's what we've always stood by.
Awesome. Makes absolute sense. And it's such an important thing these days as well, where money is a difficult, or even more of a scarcer commodity, given the state of the economy, that putting up to the extra bit more within that trust. Would you agree with that as well?
Absolutely. I think when a client comes to you and says they've only got such amount of budget and they can't afford what they're actually looking for, and you turn around and say, "Don't worry about it. I'm still going to deliver it for you." That then shows them that they're not just dealing with somebody who's out there to try and take their money. I am an event professional trying to deliver a successful event for my
Mm.
client, because I believe if I do a great job once, there's the opportunity to do it twice and three times, four times, five times over. And
Yeah.
again, that is about how you gain trust.
And that's a really important point you mentioned over there. If you do a great event once, there's an opportunity to do more business. So that's kind of alluding on to kind of referrals, getting referrals from existing customers. Also, the other magic R word, which is repeat business. So what advice would you give to people out there listening to think, how can I get more referrals? How can I get more repeat business? Clearly, you've done a lot in that front on your side, but what advice would you impart on other new startups on getting referrals and repeat business?
I think that, I think if you sit still and don't move, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to
Mm,
you've got to get out there. You've got to get out there. You can't create a business from sitting behind a computer and putting a few Instagram posts on. That's not how a business works. Uh,
yeah.
in my early days of when I set up my initial company, which is called Lesco Productions, I was able to network with so many different people, and that was also another way of saying to people, you know, I'm here, I'm in the industry, I can deliver something that, you know, I've got a bit of a USP here, you know, try my services, see if you like it, and let me deliver for you. Once you get that opportunity, and once you've got that opportunity to grow, is that's when you've got to deliver. That's when
Brilliant.
you've got to be the best that you can be. And if you lie and you cheat and you're not honest, you might get to do the job once, but you definitely won't get to do the job twice. And
Mm,
I have I can proudly say that I have so much repeat business because of the way we have always from day one
mm,
treated our clients. Um, I also think communication is probably one of the most important aspects of, I mean,
yeah.
not just any industry, not just the event industry, but just business in general. And that is, I've always made myself available. And I'll always tell my clients, I don't care what time it is. If you need something, um, I'm here. Just
Yeah.
send me a message. Give me a. In the early days, it was give me a call, and now it's we've got WhatsApp. I've got 100 WhatsApp messages and groups and things like that. I'm on. I was like, Richard, any chance you can deliver in the next couple of hours some linen? All of that kind of thing. People know that they can, that I will deliver because I'm there for them all the time. Uh,
Yeah.
and so
Just from talking to you, we can tell so easily that you're a person that's always there to service your customers and almost like helping gives you that extra bit of thrill
yeah,
whenever you work with your customers. Now that's so important in business, as everyone agreed. And it looks as if you've taken that to another level where because you love saying yes to a customer, you kind of built a one-stop shop business as well, where you mentioned earlier, anything under the sun to do with events, you can do. Sounds quite idealistic. Everybody would love to be a one-stop shop, but not everyone gets there. Um, because that involves a drain on resources, time, learning, making mistakes, etc., to become a one-stop shop. But what advice or tips would you give to another business out there on how they can go about becoming a one-stop shop?
yeah.
Um,
I'm not sure I would, but no, of course I would. I think pre-COVID, there was a lot of event management companies, um,
hmm,
and I think now post-COVID, I think a lot of those, and they may not be so involved in the industry anymore. And so I think you've got to have a USP. You've got to have a
yeah.
reason for someone to call you. If you haven't got a reason for someone to call you, then they won't. So you've got to
What
have
would
a
be your USP for summarizing a few bullet points? What would be Richard's USP for his business?
it's always been the fact that we are that one-stop shop. You're going to deal with one person, and you're going to get one invoice, and we're going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. That's always
Hmm,
been my thing, and that you can call me whenever you want. That's my four sort of things, I guess, that have always got me to where I am. If I was going to recommend somebody and how to do it, you've got to network, and you've got to meet people, and you've got to be at the top of your game the whole time.
brilliant. Brilliant. Love it. Network, be out there. You mentioned earlier on, be on top of your game. Um, do that. Now, you also had a bit of a change in the way you arranged your business. You're now working with lots of other subcontractors to help you out. Explain the importance of um, passing business out there
Yeah.
in order to get business back.
How do I get? Sorry, explain that
So
again.
explain the importance of so recently you've changed your business model where you
Yeah.
are now working with lots of subcontractors or logistical providers who
Yeah.
work with you, and that's a huge thing. Um, explain the importance of partnering other businesses in the local community to help you achieve your.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I partner with lots of different suppliers and lots of different things that can enhance the events that I'm doing. So my relationships with my suppliers are literally unbelievable, and those are the people that I won't let down, and they won't let me down. If I didn't have the relationships with my with various suppliers, linen companies, table center companies, florists, etc. I wouldn't be able to do half the business that I do. Uh,
Mm.
I can phone my suppliers and say, I need something there tomorrow. You've got to deliver for me, because if I promise my clients something, I expect my suppliers to produce to deliver for me as well. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, and then the business. So it's not just about yourself. It's also about who you're working with all the time as well. So
Yeah.
choose your suppliers wisely. Choose the people that you want to work with nicely, because they are the ones that are going to deliver for you. So
And then your reputation kind of relies on your suppliers.
absolutely. If I've got 30, sometimes I could have 30, maybe 40 different companies all working on one event. Every single one of those companies I've got to have a relationship with. They cannot let me down. They
Mm.
absolutely cannot let me down. And so yeah, if I number one didn't pay them on time, number two was rude to them, number three didn't care about them as a supplier, I wouldn't be able to do the business that I do. So
You would.
my suppliers are my world. Those are the people that I treat just as well as the venues and the agencies that give me the business in the first place. I'm very reliant on them.
Awesome. Two more questions, just conscious of time. First question, looking ahead to the next 3 years, maybe. What would you say in your industry and in your business particularly? What would be the top three challenges do you think you're gonna have to overcome in the next 3 years?
I think costs more than is probably the main one, due to the cost of things like fabric and wood
Mm.
materials, and driving into London doesn't make things any cheaper these days.
Yeah.
Um, I think it is an issue. I think that is one of the main issues. Is definitely costs. Um, I'm not 100% sure what else there would be. I mean, I think for me, I think I'm probably always nervous about business drying up and not always having enough. I haven't had an issue for quite a lot of years now, but it is always in the back of my mind is, do are it's definitely corporates. Are they bringing more of their work in house so that they don't need companies like myself to source things for them? Are they happy to with this wonderful thing called the internet? Are they happy just to
Mm.
keep doing it by that? Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And I think a lot of companies who have gone on to try and do it internally do end up outsourcing a lot of stuff, especially because we're um,
Specialists of what you do.
specialists of what we do and have been for a long time. Technology, having the equipment, things like staging, and being able to bring everything together very, very quickly. Yeah, I
And
think,
final question.
yeah.
What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self if you were going to go back into business all those many years ago? The three pieces of advice you'd give to your 18-year-old self.
If I go into business, make sure I get myself a decent accountant.
Get yourself a what, sorry?
A decent accountant.
A decent accountant, love it.
I think you've got to have, if you don't have specialists working for you or working with you from day one, and the things that I'm not experienced in, like accountancy and bookkeeping and being in, letters and all these things like, if you've got a good a good administration side to your business, that is
Mm.
the most important thing. Get yourself a good accountant, and run your business properly.
Awesome. Richard, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. You've imparted some amazing bits of knowledge, which is going to help the business community take things forward from there. Um, but to get this recorded and out there and sent across on many different sources. Well done.
Thank you.